Difficulties are meant to rouse, not discourage. The human spirit is to grow strong by conflict. William Early Channing. Is conflict inevitable? The definition of conflict is an open clash between two opposing groups or individuals. Conflict is inevitable because of many reasons. One reason that conflict is inevitable is because people want more power. Another reason is because misunderstand each other. The last reason is because people have different expectations. Our first reason is because people desire power. In the El Salvador War, there was a tension between the classes, and the Central American Socialist Party was formed. In recent years, it has been lagged by violence and poverty due to overpopulation and classes struggles. This war was led by the peasants and indigenous people against the government. By the time that the conquistadors settled in El Salvador, a group called the Peoples had taken control. The Peoples had resisted the Spanish influence, and it took many years to seize the entire area under control. They were forced into labor on the encomiendas, or large portions of land owned by wealthy Spanish families. El Salvador finally obtained independence from Spain in 1821, adding the oppression of the peasants becoming the rich of El Salvador and still controlling the land. Up until the Civil War, there had been many uprisings by different groups, such as the Land of the Nuaco in the 1830s and the coffee workers in the 1930s, who all wanted better living conditions. In Ireland, the UFB attempted to maintain British political and national dominance of Northern Ireland. Thousands of individuals, both bystanders and participants, were killed during the fighting between different parties. At this time, the Provisional Irish Republican Army, the main Republican parliamentary organization in the Northern Ireland, was uninterested in any solutions of British withdrawal and Irish unifications. In the Anlishan Rebellion, Xuanzang declared himself emperor of a region. He struggled for power between Yang Jifnei's brother and a general named Anlishan that later caused the Anlishan Rebellion in 755. Anlishan became extremely powerful and amassed a large army. In 755, he used it to rebel against the courts. The ability of a border general to threaten central rule was a result of the government's policies of strengthening frontier defenses and allowing men such as Anlishan increasing the independence. The Anlishan Rebellion marked the beginning of the dynasty's decline. An Anlishan soldier marched onto the capital and caused Xuanzang and his court to flee. Northern Ireland was created through demographic compromise. It was essentially the largest that could be comfortably held, with a majority in favor of the union with Britain, and the islands that was divided into Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland in the 1920s. The Unionist Party's leaders supposed that the new state could only continue to exist if the powers were securely in loyal protestants' hands. For them, the long war was the only option. The Anglo-Irish Agreement in 1985 was a serious attempt to achieve a political accord that resolved the Irish question. It has the Irish government an advisory role in the event of Northern Ireland, and determined there would be no change in the Northern Ireland Constitution status. In the American Civil War, they ran into a problem about miscommunication. a costly mistake by a general named Ulysses S. Grant that resulted in 7,000 Union deaths in 20 minutes during an offensive against fortified rebels at Cold Harbor in Virginia. Conflict is inevitable, and it shows by the Anglican Rebellion, the Northern Ireland War, the American Civil War, and the El Salvador War. Conflict is inevitable, and it's shown by people misunderstand each other, people desire power, and people have different expectations.